Did you know in Denmark you can work as a dentist independently or in Danish hospital? So you don't have to be a European citizen or Danish citizen in order to do so. As long as you have your qualifications and documentation, you can apply for Danish authorization so you can work independently here in Denmark. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the complete process you can follow in order for you to obtain the authorization, and then you can work as a dentist here in Denmark independently or any other hospital. So if you are a dentist or studying to be a dentist and want to consider career abroad, so this video is for you. Before we get started, I would like to say I'm making this video based on my own research and the information provided by the Danish authorities on their website. So if you are someone who is really considering applying for this authorization, please do reach out in the comment section. If you have any questions, I will try and answer those. Otherwise, I can guide you in a way where you can find the right answers. I will also leave the links to the right authorities in the description where you can contact them for more questions. Yeah. If you are new to this channel, my name is Aditya and I make different videos about Denmark and Europe. So if you're someone who are planning to move to Denmark or Europe, please subscribe to my channel so you will see what it's like to live in Denmark, work in Denmark, and study in Denmark. So I make different videos. Please do check those out. So I hope you like this video. So the authorization process could take up to a very long time, but as long as you have the right documentation and qualifications, it will be easier for them to process your application. So let's get started. Obtaining an authorization in Denmark as a dentist has 7 different steps. So the first step is your application and approval of qualifications. So there are 2 things that are very important in this one, which you have to consider, otherwise you will not be qualified to get the authorization. The first one is 6-year rule, which is very simple. If you are someone who's applying for this authorization and you are done with your studies or diplomas or whatever you have studies or your training 6 years before you're applying, that means you have to provide an additional extra document stating that within these 6 years you have worked as a dentist full-time for at least minimum of 12 months. So that should be easy. If you are a dentist already, you should be able to provide that document, and you just have to mention what are your tasks when you are working. Or if you're someone who has not graduated, so they can provide some additional different documents which are listed on the website, which I will leave the link in the description. And the second most important is the 5-year rule, where I don't know which country you're coming from, but I checked India especially, where the education takes up to 5 years to be a dentist, 4 academic years, and the 5th one is the internship rotation. So the Danish patient safety authorities wants you to have the same level of education of dentist as they have here in Denmark, which is minimum of 5 years. So I think a lot of countries have this 5 years. If you belong to some country where you can be a dentist in 4 years or 4.5 years, so do check out, do write the Danish patient safety authorities. They will answer you if they have any questions, because if you do not meet the requirements, you are not eligible for this authorization. But if you have enough experience in this field, maybe they will consider. So the next thing is like the list of documentation that you have to provide, like your degrees and diplomas, and if you are registered in your home country, the registration and everything. So the important thing is like you have to get all the documents certified. You can actually also send the original documents, but I would not advise that. Nobody should risk it if it gets misplaced. So the important step is to that you have to send the application electronically and download the application and sign it and send it by post too. So you have to get all the documents certified from the right authorities, and if they are not in English, do get them translated into English and then get them certified. So yeah, so that's the first step. And if you get approved in this first step, that means you will get a letter from Danish authorities stating that you will be given this much time to get an authorization here in Denmark. So the second step is the Danish language test. So once you come to Denmark, you will have to be registered with your local authorities, local language center, where you will take the Danish lessons, And the minimum requirements for your Danish test is they have 3 modules: reading, writing and speaking. So in those 3 modules you have to max score 10 points in one of those, and 7 and 7 in other 2. So in Denmark has a 7 point grading scale. So you can read more about that here on the link I have provided into the description. So it's important that you meet the requirements that given by the Danish authorities in order to pass the Danish test. So that you have to score 10 in one module and 7 and 7 in another 2 modules. So once you have passed this Danish test, is the step number 3. So step number 3, you have to register for your dentist test. So you cannot register for the dentist test if you have not passed the Danish exam. So that's the requirement, that's a prerequisite. So once you have that documentation also that you have passed the Danish exam, you can register yourself to a dentist test. So dentist test can occur twice a year, I think. So all the if you want to know more about that, you can read in the website. I have provided the link in the description. The next step is you have to take the course in Danish health legislation. So that's every other healthcare professional who comes to Denmark to work have to take this course, so they know how it's like to work in Denmark and what are the steps that you need to take when you work in the Danish society in healthcare. So once you take this steps course, I think it's a three-day course where there's a lot of group work, and at the end of the course there's a written exam, and that happens 4 to 5 times a year. So there's not a problem to find a place for you. If you miss this month, for example, and then there always will be a slot for you to book after 2 or 3 months. So you should not worry about that. So once you have passed this course, also there is a requirement that everything will be in Danish, so you have to pass the Danish test before. So once you have passed this, then you can, in the end is your evaluations training. So in Denmark it's called evalueringsansættelse, where there will be your skills. It's like an internship, an evaluation of your skills and knowledge as a dentist. So it will be tested in this process. So it's like an internship. So you have to find this internship yourself. Don't you worry, because I think every other healthcare professional who comes to Denmark to get an authorization have to go through this process, and it's quite easy. They have their own portal where you can find this position easily, and then you can choose one position and which fits your criteria or which is near to your where you're living or whatever. So you choose one internship. And once you have done that, you apply for temporary authorization to work as a, as a dentist during that internship. So all this applying and new documentation that you need. If you had any questions regarding this process, you can always contact and trust Danish patient safety authorities. They will guide you in the right way. So in the end of your evaluations training, you will have to apply for Danish authorization yourself, and all the results will be sent to the Danish patient safety authorities, and they will be granting you the authorization. I think it depends if it's a good evaluation, that is both your dentist test and the evaluations training will be considered, and based on the good or bad evaluation, you will be granted an authorization. So once you get this authorization, there's a last step. It's an optional. If you want to do more, if you want to specialize into dentist or go forward and do something specialization, you can actually contact the Danish patient safety authorities, and they will guide you in the right way, because on this website that's mentioned, there's not a lot of information. They say it's because a lot of people have to go through this. It takes a long time for you to get an authorization, and people don't want to waste that into getting specialization. But if you are someone who really want to do it and get that specialization, you can actually contact the Danish patient safety authorities, and they will tell you what to do next. So that's it. That is it. That's all it takes to get an authorization and work as a dentist in Denmark. So if you have any problems or any questions, please write them into the comments, and I will try and answer those. I also made videos about different healthcare professional. If you are a nurse or a medical doctor or a midwife, do check those videos out. So if you have gotten value from my video, please like this video and comment on it, and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and thank you for watching.